Facebook land. Hello, hello. Hope you're doing fine. And let's just do a little sound check here. Make sure everything's working all right. And make sure the camera's straight. Looks like the camera is straight. All right. Well, okay. Well, let's get started. So welcome to day 11 of our 30-day challenge. The camera's a little bit high. I'm just going to lower it here a second. Get a bit of a lower angle. There we go. Sorry for the shakes. Here we go. That should be a little bit better. There we go. That looks all right. And I can see some bubbles popping up here. Some people joining us. Just a little bit lower. Pardon my micro adjustments. There we go. That should do it. There we go. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Good. All right, everybody. So welcome to day 11 of our 30-day Unleash the Dragon challenge. And let's get started. Thank you so much for joining. I can see a couple of people comments or posts scrolling up there, so thanks a lot. And today what we're doing is we're getting into our first day of our second phase. So this is where we go a little bit deeper into each of the animals. And we'll be talking about the elements that make up each one animal. So, before in the previous session, the previous phase, we had this sort of sandwich structure. And so we did an animal move, a bow, and then we did an alignment exercise, and then we did the bow again, so you could have a comparison before and after of doing the move after you had adjusted your alignment a little bit. And we're going to leave that sandwich structure and move into, we're going to move from sandwich to lasagna. So we're going to be delving down through successive layers of depth and deliciousness for each of the animals. And as we do this, I'm going to hopefully give you principles of motion and movement that can help you not just in this martial art, but in any kind of physical art that you're doing. If you're doing yoga or aikido or sistema or kung fu and tai chi or bagua, dance, so any kind of physical art. It's just a really neat toolkit of principles and exercises. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with Boa, and we're going to start off with Boa, and we're going to work through some basic breathing and some effleurage, some exercises that are really great for promoting Boa and that really deal with what the Boa represents. So let's get into it. So let's start off with basic breathing. So a couple of things that the Boa represents. It represents unconscious, the unconscious aspect of your mind. It represents your empathy. Those are the aspects of consciousness it represents. Physically, each of the animals represents a different system of the body and different regions of the body. And when you move in that animal, you try to imagine as if that system alone was moving, as if your motion was emanating, was centered from that particular system. And of course, it's you move because muscles contract and extend and relax and hinge on your bones and all that. But for the sake of visualization and for expanding your motion vocabulary, it's really useful sometimes to take the perspective of one of your anatomical systems and to imagine as though that system could initiate movement. So for the Boa, the areas of the body and the systems of the body that are really important for Boa are the ones that relate to breath. So of course your lungs and the circulatory system that delivers the rich oxygenation from your breathing to every small little tiny capillary in your body. So when you're moving, you feel as though your movement originates from the expansion and the contraction of your natural breathing cycle. If you've done Sistema, welcome to it. So you can relate to this already. You're letting your breath do the motion for you, or you're you're letting your movement breathe for you, and sometimes you let your breathing do the movement for you. There's that kind of similarity. Same thing in Tai Chi. So the breathing is important. What also breathes is our skin. So feeling as though all of your pores are open and you're inhaling and exhaling through your skin. And we're going to do an exercise that particularly pertains to the skin in a moment. I call it effleurage. It's been part of our tradition. And then the last system that is important to the BOA is the lymphatic system. So now the lymphatic system is not so much about breath, it's more like an in-house vacuum system that collects all of the refuse and metabolic waste from your body and then gets rid of it. Sometimes through perspiration, sometimes through urine, sometimes through other means, but it's your lymphatic system. And the way that your lymphatic system works is it doesn't have, it's another circulatory system, but it doesn't have a central pump the way your blood vessels do with the heart. Your lymphatic system is pumped by motion. So what you want to feel is that every time that you're moving, you're pumping that lymphatic system and circulating, cleaning, and the reason for the importance of this is that part of the mythos of the BOA is that it is like an ever-expanding ace of cups. So it takes in everything, it eats everything, and then lets go what it doesn't need anymore. And so it's very much, that's how it's connected. The systems of the body that represent the BOA are the parts of the body that take in everything and then let go what you don't need. So that means your lymphatic system. It also means your digestive system. These are the systems of the body that relate to BOA. So while you're moving, you're feeling your motion pump the lymphatic system, clear out toxins. You also feel your motion, move your digestive system around a little bit and facilitate your digestion. So the lymphatic system, your digestive system, your respiratory system, your lungs, your capillaries, and your skin. The skin, because your skin respires, it breathes. So we're going to do our first exercise involving the skin. Another really, let's get into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves a little effleurage massage. What we are going to do is we're going to start to stimulate our skin as well as our proprioceptive perception. So let's get started. And it's, do what you can. If you can't do something or you need to adjust, feel free to do that. All right, so let's start off. We're going to start off by kneeling forward, and we're going to touch the insides of our feet. We're going to caress the inside yin skin of the body. We're coming up the inner thighs. We're going to come up to the hips, and we're going to cross over. And it's kind of like you're taking off a shirt. You're going to come up. You're going to uncross. You're going to come up the neck, the face. It's like you're splashing water on your face, like you're washing your face in the morning. And you're going to come down the sides. Then you're going to cup your armpits. And this is a center, it's an area that's rich in lymphatic nodes, so you can give it like a little squeeze and pump. And then you're going to brush the inside skin of your hands. Now, we've reached the top, and now we're going to brush the outside, harder skin of our hands. We're going to caress down the arms. We're going to caress down the arms, get to our shoulders, come up to our head, come down, and what I like to call unclipping the bra. So you're going to cross at your back, come down at your hips, uncross at the hips, and you pull your pants down on the outside skin of your legs. So there's this circuit where we come up the soft yin skin, we do a little loop-de-loop, do the hands, the heads, do the head, the arms, and then we do another loop-de-loop down the back side of the body. So I'm just doing it quickly, we'll do it again in a second here. But you're crossing here at the upper back, you come down, you uncross at the lower back, and then you go all the way down the body. And we're going to do this circuit a few times. And the reason why that we're doing it is, one, it's a great stimulus, great stimulation for your immune system, especially when you hit the areas where that are rich in lymphatic nodes. But it's also a great way of priming and stimulating your proprioceptive perception, your sensation of moving through space. So you tend to think of your sense of balance as coming from your inner ear, but it turns out that your ability to stand up straight and balance comes mostly from your skin, from all of the small receptors in the skin. And so what we're doing by doing this effleurage is we're reminding our body, oh look, these are my boundaries in space. And so whenever I move, I have a really accurate mental picture, mental map of where my limbs are and where my joints are in space. So that's the movement benefit of doing the exercise. And then on top of that, it's so relaxing. It's great. It's a great little exercise to do at the end of the day to center down and dump the garbage from the rest of your day. All right. So let's do the circuit. So you come on down, and you use your hands as though they're like magnets or they're dredges or combs, and you rise up the inside of the thighs, and you come up to the groin. This is another little node of another little center of lymphatic nodes, and you don't have to do much. Just touching them will get things and circulation going. So you come up and you cross at the belly, and you come up the body. You uncross at the top of the chest. You go up like you're washing your face in the morning. Come up over your head. Come down. And then cross across the chest to your armpits. You can give it like a little massage. And then we're going to let the hands caress the inside soft skin of the arms. And then you just, like two snakes coiling around each other, you then start to caress the outsides of the arms. You come down to the shoulders, reach underneath your armpits, reach between the shoulder blades, come down, uncross, and then down the outside of the legs. And then you resume the circuit. So you come up, cross, come up the face, over your glasses, up down the sides of your ears. Oh, my shampoo. It's that kind of quality. Like you're just having fun with this. You're like, it's like water just like slathering down all over you. And then you reach across the armpits, caress the insides of the arms, caress the outsides of the arms, over the shoulders, reach behind, come down, uncross at the lower back, and then down the sides. Okay? And then, if you've done that a few times, if you take a break and you just feel what your body feels like, you should have, at least in my experience, what I get is like a much more accurate sense of the outline and contour of my body. And I also feel a little bit more relaxed. Okay? So it's an effleurage exercise. And there are variations of that you can find in various martial arts. For Boa, this is one of the exercises for Boa. Now, you can do this at varying levels of difficulty, but we're going to focus mostly on the lower limbs, and you can do it like you're at this elevation. You can do it this high, or if you really want to get into it, you can get down lower. So I'm going to demonstrate it high, and if you have the ability to do it lower, you can do that, and I'll show it in a little bit. But let's start off. What we're going to do is we're going to do this for the legs, and what's going to happen is that we're going to stroke up the inside of one leg while we stroke down the outside of the other. So my hand comes up the inside of one leg, it comes to the top, and then I reach down the outside of my other leg. It comes around, it comes up, and then the other leg, the other hand goes down the outside and up the inside. And down the outside and up the inside and down the outside and up the inside. So try to do this so that it feels good for yourself, so that it's doable and feasible. And yeah, so down on the outside, up on the inside, down on the outside, and up on the inside. And down, and up, and down, and up. A few more times. So again, you're doing this, you're stimulating the proprioceptive perception in your skin. You're stimulating your skin in general. Okay. And there's a kind of like automatic soothing that happens when you do that kind of touch work. And take a moment, feel what you feel like. And for myself, I just feel like I'm just a lot more stable, and I'm settling in on my legs. I can feel where my legs are in space much more accurately. And again, I have just more and more relaxation, more and more calming happening here. Okay. I'll do the more advanced one, so if you want to try this, you can. But again, be your own best friend on this, and don't do something that you don't feel up to. But a more advanced version of that, you have the hands moving at the same time. So boom, and your body is moving with it. So this, I don't want to push it too much, but basically as one hand is coming up, the other hand is going down. And then this hand is coming up, this one is reaching down. So this is a kind of a BOA warm-up, and it's very difficult, so if you can't get down that low, don't worry about it. If you can't get both hands moving at the same time, don't worry about it. Stay high and just do one hand at a time. You'll have the same benefit, okay? Let me just check in with the notes here. People are saying, I want to see if anybody's calling me a madman. You're crazy. Let's see. No. Let's see. Hello, Pamela. Thank you for being here. Katrina, hello. Hello, Jennifer. Oops, scrolled up. Maria. Hello, Maria. And Emily, thank you for being here. Dorothy, hello from Ecuador. Esteban, thank you for being here. Excellent. Okay, cool. So if you have a question about any of these moves, it can be really challenging to just be viewing this on a live stream. So if you have questions, feel free to type them in, and maybe I can address them here right away. I'll certainly do my best. Okay, so that's the effleurage exercise, and you can take any part of that full body circuit and just do one part of your body. So you can do your arms. Let's say if you're a little bit stiff in the neck from being on your laptop all day, you can do the arms. And generally what you do is you go, if your hand was up towards the ceiling, you go up the inside skin, you come down the outside skin. So you go out towards the tips of the fingers on the inside skin, and you come back on the back of the skin. So you go out and then back in. And it's surprising how what benefits you can reap in terms of alignment and relaxation just from doing a simple effleurage exercise. Okay? You can do it on one arm, and you can do it on the other. Right. Good. Right. So you can take that full effleurage sequence and take any piece of that and focus on that part of your body. So we did the legs by themselves earlier. You could do the chest, the torso. So cross, come up, uncross, come down, cross, come up, uncross, down. And it has a nice, again, relaxing feeling and benefit. Okay, so that's boa and effleurage. And what I want to get into next is another key element for boa. It's breath, it's breathing. And I want to introduce a breathing exercise that is foundational to our art. And it's sort of a practice that touches on all of the animals. And they are called the basic breaths. So a lot less complicated, so you don't have to turn yourself into a self-touching pretzel. It's much simpler. And it's a really cool set of exercises. So they're called the basic breaths. There are 4 of them. And let's start off. So the way that we start off with the first basic breath, it's called retention breath. And we've sort of already been doing it at the beginnings of each of our challenge days during the first phase. You start off, you're standing, your feet are shoulder width-ish apart, and your knees are slightly bent, and your arms are relaxed down by your side, and your palms are turned forward. So you're exposing the yin skin. And what we're going to do is we are going to fill up our body with breath. And as we fill up with breath, our body is going to expand with that breath. When you can no longer take in any more air, you hold your breath for a little bit, and then you exhale, letting the body deflate as you exhale. There is a pattern there's a pattern to the inhale and a different pattern to the exhale. On the inhale, you're going to fill up your lower back, middle back, and upper back. And it's not a big action, but you think of sending breath into your lower back, middle back, and upper back first. Then you fill up your lower abdomen, middle torso, and upper torso. Okay? So you have this pattern for the inhale. Lower back, middle back, upper back. Lower abdomen, middle abdomen, upper torso on the inhale. On the exhale, you empty out from the top to the bottom. All right? So let's do this together. And what you can imagine is, you like you have like a cummerbund, you know, and you wear like a little, or like a belt or a scarf or something, and it's wrapped around your body. And what you're going to do is you're going to breathe into the back of that scarf. It's not a big action. I mean, you can put your hands back there for feedback, and you'll get a little bit of an expansion, and so it's subtle. So you breathe into your lower back, then your middle back, then your upper back, and then you breathe into your lower abdomen, and your belly goes forward and out. Then you breathe into your middle abdomen, and your rib cage goes out to the side. Then you breathe into your upper torso, and your rib cage rises on a 45-degree angle forward. So you've totally filled up with breath. You can no longer take in any more. You just hold it for a beat, and then you start to exhale. And on the exhale, your head turns up. It's like a volcano letting out lava or something. You're letting your breath exit your body from the top down. The chest kicks in. And then when the chest can no longer cave in, That's when the head rolls over. You curl over, and again, as above, so below. You only cave your chest in. You contract only as deeply as you can bend your knees. So it's kind of like I have a letter C curved this way and a letter C that I'm shaping with my legs, and both letter C's are equally deep. So as I exhale, I surrender, I let go, but I don't let my head travel past my knees, so I don't put any unnecessary strain on my lower back. I keep my head around my knee, around the same plane as my knee. And again, my favorite test is if somebody puts their hands on your shoulder and they push down, they dribble you like a ball. You'd be like a naturally loaded spring. So that's how you know if you're at the right degree. Okay, so we'll do it again. And let me just check the comments to see if there's any questions. Curious why it goes up the yin side on the legs and down the yin of the arms. No, it goes down the yang of the arms. And anybody else? Nope, that's it for the questions. Okay. So that was Jennifer's question. So she was wondering why we go up the yin and down the yin. We don't. We go up the yin and down the yang. So in case this is new terminology for you, what we mean by the yin skin is the soft, less hairy skin on the inside of your body. And what we mean by the yang skin is the more hairy, thicker skin of the same limb. Okay? So it's up the yin and then down the yang. And part of the reason, different systems have different reasons. In Chinese medicine, the yin lines flow up, the yang lines flow down. Part of the reason for that is that from a Western perspective, is that your connective tissue chains, your fascia chains, work to pull down in the back, and they work to be pulleyed up in the front. So that's one of the reasons. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that when we get to Panther. Okay, so let's do the retention breath. So our weight is distributed evenly between both feet. Relax. And you're going to inhale. You're going to inhale first into the lower back. And it causes my knees to straighten a little bit. It causes my back to straighten a little bit. And then I breathe into my middle back. And then into my upper back. And then into my front lower abdomen. Pops out. Into my middle torso, ribs go out. And into my upper torso, rib cage rises up on a 45. I'm relaxing the shoulders. And then I exhale from the top down. And I expel the last drop of air. And then inhale again. Breathing in. Whoops. I did the front first. Okay. And so breathing in, back, lower back, middle back, upper back, lower abdomen, middle torso, upper torso. Hold the breath for a beat or two, and then exhale. Good. One more time, breathing in deep, lower back, middle back, upper back, lower abdomen pops out, torso, ribs out to the side, upper chest comes out on a 45. You're raised up by your own breath, and then exhale like you're being emptied out from the top down. I'm going to take off my shirt so you can see a little bit more action and play here. And because it's Qinlang, that's what we do. So, Hopefully you can see that little bit of action in the back. And then the front. Really let it bulge out, bowl out, and then ribcage to the side. And then on a 45. And then as you exhale, from the top down, so hopefully that gives you a sense of how you're working that. I'm going to put my shirt back on. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's retention breath. And there is, I don't want to overwhelm you, but there's a little bit of visualization that goes along with that. Let me just check in with any comments. No, that's it for comments right now. What you're visualizing while you're doing that in-breath is you're drawing energy in from the toes and the hands, sending that energy up into the sun, purifying it while you hold your breath, and then as you exhale, you're bringing that energy back down, clarified, purified, energized, and sending it down and out through your body. And so we draw in earth and water through the legs, fire and air through the hands. And so as you inhale, you draw earth and water through the feet, up through the legs, and the energy joins at the belly button and rises up through the body and then out the top of the head. At the same time as you're doing that, you're breathing in fire and air. It goes up the arms and it meets at the throat, where it meets the lines from the feet, the earth and the water from the feet. They all join together and then up through the crown of the head into the sun. It gets purified and energized, and then back down through the body, out the way they came. You can play with sending them out the way they came, or you can flip it, so it's earth and water out the hands and fire and air through the feet. And it's just, the idea is to change things up and circulate energy differently. It's up to you. Let's keep it simple for now. So send the energy back out the same way it came. So let's give that a shot. Let's take a moment and just visualize the quality of heavy earth, moist, dank, dense, the quality of water fluidly moving and flowing, and you're bringing that up both legs. Earth and water up through the legs, up into the groin, up into the belly, and now bring air and fire through your fingertips and the palms of your hands, up the arms. And they join around at the throat area. And then you send all of those elements up through the crown of your head into the sky, into the sun. And you feel like you're energizing all of those different qualities of energy. And you're bringing that energy back down. And you send fire and air out the hands. And you send earth and water back down through the feet into the earth. And so you're running those currents while you're doing the breathing. It's why it's called an art, and it's why it's called a practice. So it's intense, but it's also really beneficial. So let's put it all together. So take a moment. We're going to do the retention breath while we're working with the energy. So relax, release, and bring in earth and water through the feet, air and fire through the hands. They join around the throat area, and you send that up into the sun, and you energize and purify it as you hold the breath. And then as you exhale, that energy comes back down and goes out the way it came. One more time, breathing in. One more time. Fill up. Earth and water through the feet, fire and air through the hands as you fill up your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, front of your torso, lower, middle, upper. Hold, energize, and then bring the elements down. Send them out the way they came in as you expel air from the bottom down. One more time. Breathing in earth and water through the feet, fire and air through the hands, bringing them up the limbs. They join belly, at the throat, send it up into the sky. Then bring that energy back down, send them out the way they came in as you exhale from the top down. One more time, like you mean it. And breathing in, lower back, middle back, upper back as you bring in air, earth, fire, and water. Lower ab, middle ab, upper torso. Send the energy up into the sun, energize it. And then exhale. Sending the energy out the way it came in. And then stand. So why the elements? Ask yourself what parts of your body, what parts of your character are fiery, watery, airy, earthy. There's probably a part of you that is very airy, like your imagination or your mind. And so you're giving it a chance to get replenished by that airy element. Maybe you're a very passionate person and you have a lot of fire. Maybe you expended a lot of passion and a lot of fire. So you're drawing in that fire energy and replenishing that part of yourself. So there's that aspect of the practice where you're recharging your natural strengths. And the other part of that practice is that you're balancing those elements off. Perhaps you're a very passionate person and you could do more and you could do well with a little bit more earthy groundness. Or maybe you're a very earthy person and you can hold a container and be a stable person in your family or your community or your work. But maybe you don't get to express the watery, more feeling elements. And so you bring in a little bit more water and you nourish that aspect of yourself. These elements, they are archetypal symbols. So as far as your mind is concerned, playing with those symbols is making them real, is at least touching on those forces. It's saying hello to those kinds of dynamics and those forces and influences in your life. So it's a really great, it's just a really great exercise to do, a really great way of saying hello to the different aspects of yourself. Let me just check in. Hi, Joy. She'll make it later. Thank you, Joy. Okay. All right. And again, if you have any questions, I'll check in with the scroll here and I'll try to answer them here on the fly. So that's retention breath, and that's the first of 4. I guess this might take a little longer than 30 days. Okay. So the thing about retention breath is that that pattern of breathing is now used throughout the other 3 breaths. Okay? So we front loaded and now we're going to repeat that same pattern. So let's go through the other breaths. The next breath that we're going to do is cleansing breath. And cleansing breath breathes in the same way and then exhales slightly differently. It's 7 forced short out breaths. So it fills up the same way. You inhale the same way. Lower back, middle back, upper back, lower torso, middle torso, upper torso. And then on the exhale, you exhale 7 forced short out breaths from top to bottom. And it sounds like this. And it's as though you're just forcibly expelling just tension from different sections of your body. If you're into some other martial arts, I'm thinking particularly in Systema, where we do a lot of controlled contraction and relaxation of segments of the body, what's called segmented breathing. This is a great little exercise for that. Basically, it's like you're basically coughing from each chakra. For those of you who do yoga, you have the centers, the crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, your belly, the pubic bone, the tip of the tailbone, and it's as if each one of those chakras is sneezing, because that's what chakras do. All right, so it's not hard, it's just a little bit of an impulse, a little bit of a, a flick, but you're doing this flick along the scale of your body. So you're going from the top down. So you're sort of pressing air out from up here, from over here, from your heart, from your belly, and then from deeper down. So let's do that. So we'll breathe in. And 7 forced short out breaths. Breathe in deep. You're still drawing in energy through your feet and your hands. And one more time. And relax, release, and that can be pretty intense. So find your pace. If you hover around 7 breaths, that's fine. 1 or 2 more or less isn't going to hurt. But what you want to do is be able to focus on a different area in your body as you progress. And after a while, you get faster at it. And it's really great if you're an athlete. You get to find different areas of your body that you can breathe from. And again, that's just shout out to Systema where that practice happens a lot. You try to, if somebody is pressing against your abdomen, can you breathe into your upper rib cage? And if there's pressure against your rib cage, can you breathe into the lower back? That kind of, and athletes, any really good athlete learns to dredge up breath and oxygen from the little nooks and crannies of their lungs in order to be able to continue enduring. So it's a really great exercise for developing that breath control, a mindful breath awareness. Anytime I perform, if I'm for a martial arts test, or sometimes when I'm running, it just kicks in. This kind of breathing kicks in where I'm forcibly expelling carbon dioxide. So most of the time when people get tired, it's not because they can't get in enough oxygen, it's because they can't get rid of their carbon dioxide fast enough. And so this forceful expulsion of the carbon dioxide, helps improve your endurance. And okay, so that's the cleansing breath. And then there is a rejuvenation breath. Rejuvenation breath, you breathe in the same way. As you're breathing, you're tapping with your fingertips. And then as you hold your breath, you make cups with the palms of your hands. And you pound your body. And then as you exhale, it's kind of like boa. You exhale, your palms are in front of you. Waterfall of your breath pouring into the cups of your palms. And you exhale, and then inhale. Hold the breath. And then exhale. And the way that you think of the finger tapping, it doesn't have to be hard and heavy. That's me, I do it hard and heavy because that's my personality. But what you're thinking of is ultrasound. So as you're tapping, you're feeling the vibration from your taps, just giving an ultrasound massage to your internal organs. You're loosening up gunk, And you know, our body is anti-fragile. That is, there are certain stresses that your body expects in order to function normally. It's kind of like our character and our personality. If you don't get hardships, you don't develop a strong character. You need something to push against sometimes. Your muscles, they need weights, they need resistance in order to get stronger. And your internal organs don't need to run a marathon necessarily, and but a little bit of vibration helps tonify them, helps tone their motility, how they normally function. So that's what you're doing with the finger tapping, and then especially with the cupped palms. You know, you just give it a pound. It's not that you're slapping, but you create this cup sound, and it's the quality of the cup sound that creates a sound wave that better penetrates the body. And just the sound penetrating the body just helps loosen things up. So let's give it a shot. So you're breathing in, and as you breathe in, you're tapping. I'll do it a bit lighter here. And then as you hold the breath, cup the palms. Get the rib cage. If you're a female, you can do it around the breast at the top, and then around on the sides, around on the belly, and then when you can no longer hold your breath in, you exhale and release the breath. And breathing in, fingertips. Hold the breath. And then exhale. One more time. And breathing in. This exercise was developed in the African jungles when they discovered Tarzan. Hold your breath and then exhale. There you go. Okay, so that's rejuvenation breath. So we did retention breath, inhale, exhale. Cleansing breath, inhale. 7 forced short out breaths. Rejuvenation breath, finger tap. Exhale. And now, this is a big daddy. This is the most intense one, the most intense of them all. Prana shake. Now, for this one, I just approach it with moderation, because it is pretty intense. What you're going to do, I'll do it from the side here so you can see. You're going to breathe in the same pattern with your body. So lower back, upper back, lower torso, middle torso, upper torso. But as you're doing that, you're drawing your arms up in front of you. Okay, your hands are just floating like in a bathtub that's filling up with water. They're rising on that water level, and your hands are like magnets, and they're drawing energy to you. So as you're inhaling, your hands come up. You reach the top of your breath, you turn the palms up, you close the circuits, you make fists. And it's as if you grab somebody by their collarbones and you're going to shake them. And you're shaking them so much, it's shaking you a little bit. So what you're doing is you're using the motion of your hands to create a back and forth motion in your spine. Now you can get very vigorous with this and have a up and down and bending of the knee action, but build up to that. So just start gently just shaking. And the idea is that what you're doing is you're shaking your spine and the cerebral spinal fluid in and along the spine. So more moderate, just a nice, vigorous, friendly rattling, vibration. And then if you do it more vigorously, it can look like that. And then exhale. And inhale. Hold the breath. And exhale. One more time, breathing in. Close the circuits. And stand and feel your body. All right. And hopefully you feel a little bit more energized. You've got a little bit more air and blood flowing. I'm just going to check in to see if there are any comments or questions. Sorry for rattling the camera here. Watching. Hello, questions? Nope, no additional questions. Okay, great. All right. And so those are the basic breaths. And we'll just finish this off with a little bit of movement of boa to round it out and connect it to the boa. So these are basic breathing exercises. They really expand your capacity for breathing, and they're not like a boa exercise per se, but they really help develop the quality of boa, especially breathing awareness and being able to breathe into any part of your body like it's just one big lung. And it helps cultivate that sense of being able to move your body in response to your own breath. Okay, so let's have a little bit of movement so that you can feel like the dance-like quality of the animal, which will convey what the animal's about much more than words ever can. So let's do the butterfly blocks. So this is a nice little simple exercise that you can do. And what you bring one foot forward, and let's have your right foot forward and your left leg back. And let's just do this for a second. Shift so that your weight is on your front right foot, and then shift so that you're placing more of your weight on your back leg. So you're what's called in Bagua, back weighted, and then you go front weighted. Excuse me, front weighted. So back weighted and front weighted. And different styles in Chinese martial arts are either back weighted or they are more front weighted. But we play with both here. Okay. And what we're going to do, we're going to do an action with our hands. And let's just try this. Bring your hands together like they're sabers crossing each other. And you're going to drop down a little bit. You're going to curl over slightly and uncross the hands, and then they come up. And then you're going to shift your weight from your back leg to your front leg. You're going to put your hands on an invisible wall, and you're going to push yourself away from the invisible wall. So in Aikido, they talk about an Aikido push. This is a boa push. You're not pushing somebody else, you're pushing yourself away from them. That's the idea. And so you push yourself away from the front, then the hands cross, drop down. You uncross the hands, and there's kind of like a slap quality on your thigh. So you slap the thighs, the hands come up, you shift your weight, you place your hands on the invisible wall, and you press back from the invisible wall. And butterfly block, shift, repulsion push, and cross, block, uncross, shift your weight, press against the invisible wall, and settle in on your back leg, and press, and press away. And let's switch other side, and drop, press, and push away, cross, block, press in, push away, one more, So that's a little boa movement to give you a sense of the animal. There's some others that are nice. Maybe I'll leave them to tomorrow, but let's try one now. So here, put your hand on a doorknob and turn the doorknob. Okay? And you have your hand back here, and it's also holding a doorknob while it's pushing the doorknob and the door, something like that. So I've got two hands, and they're connected to doorknobs, and they're rotating in phase with each other, or out of phase. So as the fingers are pointing are upwards here, they're downwards here, and they rotate in sync with each other. Okay? And what you're going to do is, before you grab the doorknob, this hand is going to drop and then hold the doorknob. So you're here, it's like an open palm, and you're going to drop and then clasp the doorknob. So it's like I've done a slap, and I'm going to keep my wrist, my heel of the palm where it is in space, and rotate my fingers around the heel of my palm, and then clasp the doorknob. And then as I'm going to pull, and there's like a rope going around a pole or a winch connecting to my other hand. So when I pull on one end of the rope, it pulls my other hand. And of course, the fingers, the hands move in sync with each other and turn over. Let's try it again from here. So it's like a flat palm, roll through the wrist, hold the doorknob, and pull the rope and the winch, and rotate the hands. And same thing on this side. So here I've got the doorknob. I kind of let go of the doorknob. I circle the wrist around. I re-grab the doorknob, and then I pull on one end of the rope to push the other hand as my fingers switch. And pull and push. All right, and clasp the doorknob, pull and push. Clasp the doorknob, pull and push. Now you're going to shift your weight front and back as you do this. So you drop the hands, clasp the doorknob. You're going to pull and push as you shift your weight forward. So you're between both legs when your hands are passing each other and they're both like at the midpoint of the rotation, and then you press back. Clasp, pull, come forward, recede. Clasp, come forward, recede. Clasp, come forward to the halfway point. When you're at the halfway point, the hands are halfway through their rotation, and you're halfway between both legs. And then at that halfway mark between your legs, you then start to recede again as your hands continue rotating and pushing. And push, pull. Okay? One more time. Pull, push, and recede. Okay. So that gives you a little taste of what the quality of the boa is like. We'll repeat the motions tomorrow. We'll go through the basic breaths. We'll go through the boa, those couple of boa moves, and it'll hopefully give you a sense of deepening. And tomorrow what I'll do is I'll comment a little bit more on the unconscious and how you can work with the unconscious and with empathy with your boa. How you can use the boa imagery to help strengthen your own sense of empathy and your own relationship to your own unconscious. So that was a lot, and I hope that that's been interesting for you. And if you have any questions, feel free to email or message any questions that you have, and I can either just answer you on your own, or I can post an answer for the group. Yeah, so I hope that was interesting. And so thank you again. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same channel. And